Welcome to the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate some of our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today we have the distinct pleasure of talking about one of the most anticipated movies of the year, and that's going to be none other than the Thunderbolts, or Thunderbolts? Asterisks? Been a lot of speculation, a lot of excitement, kind of a lot of people wanting to be excited about a Marvel movie, considering some of the like ups and downs that have been happening the last couple of years. So we're gonna get right into this episode, talk about what we liked, some of our favorite moments, how this leads up into some of the big things coming on later on this year, what we liked from a filming and film creation standpoint and acting, and what that means is fill the spoilers. A whole vault filled of spoilers that you can't just burn your way through. So if you have not seen the movie yet, please go out there, get a general idea, watch it, see what you thought about it, listen to us, see if we align on things that you liked or didn't like. We'd love to hear some of that once that all is ready to go. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. That is the usual suspects here. We've got Danny.
Hello.
We have Anthony.
Hi, I'm Bob.
He's not Bob. He's Anthony. He's Ant Tony.
Wait, who?
And lastly, we have none other than Zach.
Hello.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Danny, I know you're usually our fact guy, but fun little fact about the Thunderbolts is that it is directed by Jake Schreier. And Jake Schreier has a wide variety of a lot of stuff, but most recently he did that miniseries on Netflix that was pretty incredible called Beef. And I know you loved that one a lot.
Yeah, that was a fun mini series, or like 9 episodes on Netflix.
Fun,
so.
Man.
I think it's just an anthology because they're doing another season that's just going to be with a different cast.
Yeah, is Jake Schreier still like attached to that? I think he is, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
Is it Schreier or Schreier?
It might be Schreier.
Might be Schreier.
It might be. Yeah, I would think.
I think you guys are right. My
probably
bad.
Schreier.
Yeah, he also directed an episode of The Skeleton Crew, which I liked that show a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Which one?
I think the
best one.
Skeleton Crew. You have a lot to learn.
5, episode
pirates.
5.
That might actually be the best one because there was one.
Yeah, that's the one where they're on
a really good one.
They're on they're on the resort world.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, I can't say I remember anything about no Atten. Literally can't. I love that quote, but also spoilers. Anyway, yeah. So he's got he's great. He's really sort of like on like the up and coming, not up and coming, because he's been around doing stuff since like 2012 and before, but I think he's really got a lot of buzz around him. So it's good to see him be trusted with a full-on Marvel project and giving us something, pretty unique, I think, compared to what we all were normally expecting.
Yeah, it was a different take on a Marvel film for sure. You could see when we go into it.
Yeah, it's you have all the big superhero stuff, and you have the cool character development, the Marvel quips, the action stuff, but then you have a lot of good character development as well, and a lot of kind of like introspective insights that we have to a lot of these characters, which I really enjoyed a lot. But basically kind of pulling in this ragtag group of basically like assassins, like anti-heroes and misfits. You've got, Florence Pugh as Yelena, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, David Harbour as Red Guardian or Alexei Shostakov, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, the other Captain America. You have Hannah John Kamen as Ava from Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ghost.
Yeah, she was Ghost. But you also have a couple other of kind of like not lesser known actors, but actors playing lesser known parts, but got to move a lot around. For example, it's great to see Wendell Pierce as Congressman Gary, just trying to lead the whole um, investigation against none other than Julia Louis Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. You have to add the de.
You have to say the.
Yeah, you have to say de Fontaine. And then finally rounding it out is Louis Pullman coming in new as Robert Reynolds, or as everybody saw in the trailers, Bob.
Oh, hi there.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bob. He's so like cool and nonchalant. Also the main like soldier guy for Valentina was a guy named Chris Bauer. He's great. He was in long time ago. He was in The Wire, but he's also in Heels. That's a show on Stars with Stephen Amell. It's really really good. Kind of like show about like an independent wrestling organization. It's pretty cool. But
That's right.
he's
He
great.
was in The Wire. So you have two people from The Wire?
Yeah,
Nice.
Wendell Pierce and Chris Bauer. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So that if I was always excited at the cast, and then also coming back from Black Widow alongside Yelena was Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster or Antonia Dreykov. So it's cool to see like how all these pieces are gonna kind of really come together. Um, but with all the characters kind of coming through, um, before we go into favorite moments, I kind of want to go into like what people thought as like their favorite characters, because I'm very conflicted. Like this is actually one where I was like, damn, I liked like everybody that like ended up assembling towards the end. Like everybody was likable. Everybody had their things going on. But I'll leave it up to my panelists. What do you guys think? I talked way too much. Let's figure it out.
Zach
Yeah, it was
first.
kind of yeah. It was kind of hard to pick because I mean everyone had like a standout moment. I mean, well, I would argue and say maybe like one or two people didn't really have like a big standout moment, but most of them did. Man, it's hard. I kind of really liked, I think, Red Guardian the most.
He had a good balance in this movie. Like I thought he was gonna be like over too much on the jokes, um, but I think it was a good balance of like joking a good amount of the time and then being serious with Yelena when it needed to be.
Yeah, because
I
I think
liked, yeah.
since,
Go ahead.
since it wasn't in like the first part of the movie all that much, it that's maybe a lot of like where the balance comes from because we see him for like a 5 minute scene with him and Yelena, and then he comes back later on when he shows up in the desert. But by that point, it had been like maybe 20-30 minutes almost, and then from there, he was there for
He sticks
the
around. He
rest of the
basically
movie.
sticks around forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all of his
His
lines were great.
initial. Yeah. Even his initial, like, it's funny, but it's also like, hey, he's not really seeing a lot of like what Yelena's going through in terms of her like loss of focus, loss of purpose, and kind of like finding meaning in things, and kind of like going through like the beginnings, not beginnings, but like kind of going through like a stage of kind of like depression. She's kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of going through the motions here. Like, I need a change. I need something different. And like he's kind of like, it's just like, yeah, you can do this. And then when he hears a Valentina call, he's like, no, put a good word with me. Come on, like, come on, bro. Like, I could do it. He's just like, no, I hate my life. I'm just driving around stupid people. It's dumb.
He's so full, so filled.
Yeah, so full, filled, so
That
filled.
was such a good quote, even though we heard it in the trailer. So
I
good.
forgot about it. That's why it was hilarious. But and like he just brought the like embarrassing but lovable dad energy to everything.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's why like when you have like their initial like fight with Sentry, like he gets thrown out the window. I was like, oh my god, please don't. And then like the other end of that kind of like threw me out. I was like, damn, this dude is just playing. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. Uh, yeah, and his speech with Yelena, like trying to like pick yourself back up. That was like genuinely heartful, like or like heart-filled, and came from a place of caring and not just kind of like, hey, get back over here. Like that was really good. After they basically all got their asses kicked. So cool. I like that pick, Zach. Let's go with Danny next. What do you think?
Yeah, I think again, everyone had their own moment to shine. But this is clearly Yelena's movie, or a big chunk of her movie, especially after Black Widow. It's kind of like Black Widow 2 in a way. But yeah, I think she was great in this movie. And after following her in Hawkeye for a little bit, now we're here. It's always great to see more of her. And Florence plays her very well. And then all the stunt stuff too, like when she jumps off the building and like
Which I missed that part.
yeah, I got
Yes.
there right at the end of it.
You guys missed
but
the jump and the fight scene she had.
I saw the fight scene. I think Zach missed the fight scene because
I might have seen like the tail end of the fight scene when I was
Yeah,
walking up
I
to my
caught more of the
seat.
fight scene than Zach.
Where it was like
But,
it was like a top down camera, and it was just like her in a hallway
Yeah,
whooping on
Yeah.
fellas.
that's
yeah.
how you hide the stunt work. Great.
But that was all cool. But I had seen the jumping off the building from like
No.
the behind the scenes and all those clips on Instagram.
I love
So-
that she's like, I want to do this, and the studio's like, no, you don't. And it's like, yeah, I do. Okay, fine. Let's see how we make this like fine. And like again, like that's like something that the director, like, I'm not sure he's used to doing something like really big like this, but he's like, I'm gonna trust my actors to jump and go and do it. So that's pretty damn cool.
I mean,
Like,
we're getting
I was
to,
really
like,
impressed
Tom
with her.
Cruise. We're getting to Tom Cruise levels of stunts here.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's what's pretty cool about that. Like, oh, she's gonna try to make that happen.
And then we obviously get a lot of like more backstory to Yelena. I guess like we see more into her like childhood and then now her relationships with everyone here in this cast. So it's cool. To see.
Yeah, especially how like there isn't like there's all this like the whole interaction is all built on mistrust because everybody like meets each other under false pretenses. So
That whole sequence was fun seeing them like
the whole sequence
Yeah.
was wild. Yeah, basically all of them basically trying to fight each other. Like, do we all just punch and shoot? None of us do anything else, with the exception of Ghost, who can phase through stuff.
Yeah, and I
'Cause
like
it
the
was-
part at the end of the movie when with Yelena when she was kind of like dodging all the stuff flying at her. That was really cool.
Yeah, kind of like in the voidscape, kind of just trying to like get to Bob and help him break through.
She-
That was really good.
It was like her doing this is me doing the Black Widow stuff.
Yeah, that was really unique. Or like I like that they gave her more of a chance to do that in a place like this, even though they're just fighting the different levels of Bob's traumas. I was on meth. That part's hilarious. With the spinning chicken suit.
Oh,
yeah.
my god,
I
that
love that. But I'm sorry, I was
Like,
on
what
meth.
is this?
I was like,
Oh, man.
who is that?
That was
That,
Bob, dude. That was great.
that the I don't know who it was that sent it, but in one of our group chats, someone had sent Thunderbolts without context or photos without context.
Oh yeah, I
That
sent
was
it.
Danny. Danny. Oh no, Anthony. Okay, Danny usually sends those. They're hilarious. Do you remember what they were?
Those are
'Cause I
great.
forgot.
I don't think I sent one for this one, so it may
I
not have been
sent it
me.
a couple days ago. It was like one of them was a taco for this dude's shield.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then one
That's
of them
what
was
that was.
Peter.
From.
It was
I
Peter Griffin
wondering where
fighting the
that
chicken.
was from.
The other one was
Peter
Peter
Griffin
Griffin
fighting the chicken?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the chicken thing. Yeah.
Trying to remember what the other two were. Oh, okay, I found it. And then it's the scene from Emperor's New Groove where they're going up the cliff.
Oh yeah, they're
back
going
to
up the
back.
cliff back to back. Yeah.
And then the fourth picture was Neo stopping the bullets from Matrix Reloaded.
Which is basically the Sentry going,
Yeah.
I can do all this busted stuff because I'm busted.
Yeah, the part where they were climbing up that part in that secret base, whatever. I
Mhm.
immediately thought of Emperor's
You
New Groove.
really you
Yeah,
went
me
straight
too.
to that? You know what?
Me too.
Good for you.
I went
That-
straight to
that
that,
was
and
awesome.
I think I even went to like I leaned over to Isis. I was like, oh, that's from Emperor's New Groove.
That movie's too
Yeah.
good.
Good call, my guy. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
But they doubled it. Now it's 4 instead
Or
of 2.
exactly.
Which that was also a really great scene.
Like the back
banter
and forth
between
they had
everyone.
while they were going up and then
Like
not
I
trusting
don't
each
understand
other.
what the game plan was. It's like if you just look up to see how high it was, like there's no way they could do this. I was like,
Which is wild though.
Well,
They did
I,
it.
I forgot this guy had the
well,
super
they did it
serum.
because there was like a random opening that was there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get to this opening before we all get
I mean,
tired.
in theory, there was a lot of like pressure that John Walker could put on because again, he has the super soldier serum.
Yeah, I forgot that he had that. So when he jumped to try to get out, I was like, did someone just throw him? Like what?
Nah, bro. He's like, I'm
Nah,
gonna
he's
jump.
just
He's
like
like, I'm gonna get you.
he just shot himself up there.
You know what I really liked? I liked his sneaky on your left
Yeah,
comment.
that was
Oh
hilarious.
my god!
We're
When
like,
he
we
said
can't.
that.
Where's the power? Where's the power supply? On your left. Bam. Oops. The thing we use to take out the power of the door also powers the elevator. Oops. But hey, it still worked. That was pretty fun. So nice. So Yelena, awesome. Yeah, Yelena had great moments. You know, connecting with Bob, kind of like keeping Bob around, but also like, hey, like I'm not just gonna throw you out and do whatever. Like, okay,
Being the
buddy.
one
Like,
to talk to Bob and
yeah,
like
she
kind of like
connected to
how
Bob.
Black Widow was that to the Hulk in a way.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
I
it was
had the same
a
exact
good
thought.
pair.
Good mirror. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Anthony, I'll have you go next.
Oh boy. So are we each gonna just do someone different? So if I pick one person, Xavier, you're gonna pick somebody else?
I have, I don't know. You can go. You
Yeah,
can pick yours. Just
Okay.
pick yours.
whoever you want.
Okay. I mean, because like we've all said so far, like they, it's a testament to the movie. They made a good movie where you actually end up liking most, if not all, the characters by the end of the movie. Um, yeah, I mean, Red Guardian's great, and so is Yelena. They were actually like two of the like main parts of the movie with like a lot of the funny moments and heartfelt moments of the movie.
Yep.
But I gotta go with my boy, the old school Winter Soldier.
Bucky. Yeah.
He was in the
Bucky
he
had
was
some
in the
great moments.
yeah, he was in the movie for that long, but like the times that he was there, they gave him some good action scenes, and he was kind of like the semi father of the group because he's like the
He wrangled
the
them all together. Yeah.
the old statesman. He's like, I know what I'm doing. Come on, guys, follow me. But yeah, like Bucky's badass as usual, and he cleans his metal arm in a dishwasher.
No, not metal, vibranium arm.
Vibranium, the vibranium.
Like not. It's obviously metal, but you have to be specific. It's a vibranium ass arm, and he's just like, nope. There you go. This is. I just gonna put it in the dishwashing machine. I agree with that. I mean, like, not. I agree. Like, I like that you picked Bucky because Bucky had some great moments too. Like, he's the one again, like trying to uncover all the stuff. He knows Valentina's up to no good. He's trying to flip Mel, her like personal assistant,
Yeah.
which also had some really good moments too. Like, she had her crisis of conscience. She's pretty in tune with everything, but still also like just mildly out of her depth, but still trying to roll with it. I'm really happy that Valentina kept her around because that was kind of like that. This is your ultimate like kind of test, and then she came through in the end.
Because she
That's
always
pretty
brings
good.
her coffee at. She says like somehow you always get me coffee no matter where we are.
Yeah, no, like and you get it perfect. He's like, I don't care where we are, but you make this thing literally perfect. After Bob kind of has his whole like, all right, I'm being able to tap into my stuff, and he like flies and then dive bombs down. All of that afterwards, and she like handles it. Is like, here's also your coffee. Oh man, yeah. Like imagine like getting that gig out of college. Wild stuff.
I like the
Wild stuff.
scene, one of the scenes where they were in the truck while Bucky was driving the Red Guardian. is next to him asking him questions, and he's like, "So, what kind of super soldier serum did you get?" And he's like, "I don't know, just the standard Hydra issue."
Oh, Hydra issue. Mine was from the Soviet Union. That was
Hey,
great. He's just
he
like
made a comment
Hydra
about it's
issue.
like, oh, it's not the same or it's not the original, but it works or whatever he
Mhm.
said. I don't even remember what he said.
Correct. Yeah, no
Something
one
that it
really
was
has the
different,
original. Yeah.
but I
No
thought it
one's
was funny.
got that thing that Cap's got. Yeah, that was great. Like they're in the car and he's just like, "Oh, what plan do we have?" And he just rams into the front. He's like, "Oh, you think Bucky's gonna have the plan?" No, he's just gonna ram in there.
And of course,
Uh,
the cool sequence in the desert where he comes to get them and save them. It was totally Terminator style.
that was really freaking cool. Like how he took out the Humvees, the yeah,
Yeah,
he took out
he
the
used
Humvees.
those disc things that he used in the Winter Soldier movie.
I also really liked how like although the main group of Thunderbolts they're under like Walker's doing the smart thing is like everybody hide behind the shield and like he's using the shield as a bulletproof like backplate because none of Red Guardian's gadgets are working. He's like, wait, I got something.
Bulletproof-ish. Bulletproof-ish.
Bulletproof ish, and then he just gets his Molotov cocktail and is like, cool, we did it. No, it's gone. Because it was legit, like that was a good throw, and it's like,
Yeah, it
no,
landed on the truck and then the wind just blew it away.
it's like absolutely not, sir. You get nothing. And yeah, like basically his whole spiel of them, like he captured all of them and tied them all up. That was pretty. It was like still pretty confident. It's like, yeah, hey, like Bucky knows what the hell he's doing. Like he's probably him between him and Yelena, probably like the best hand to hand fighters that they have.
Well, also, this is like the maybe second or third person that catches Bucky's punch from the arm.
Oh yeah, that happens too. Also, he's a terrible congressman. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that they kind of like went away from
Yeah,
that.
like that just ended. He
Yeah.
was
Which is it's so weird. Part of me feels like that the only reason he was a congressman in this movie was because
because he
they made
was
him one in Captain
in the
America
cameo.
in
Yeah.
that one scene in Captain America. So the writers were probably like, man, we have to implement this into the movie somehow, and then we got to get rid of
But
it.
let's get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it did kind of sort of serve the purpose they when they were able to like at least like they still made it like fit in and work in the sense that hey, there's still like congressional hearings against Valentina and you have like the congressional panel and it gave her a great platform to kind of like be sassy but also like hey, I'm just as the the head director here of the CIA, like I just might be the only person to be able to understand what this country needs right now. It's like we need our own team of supers. Say what you will. Obviously, it wasn't good, but somewhere in Great Britain are basically like is like the Super Scroll, who Gaia being busted as hell.
I
You
don't
do
think
have
she exists anymore, man.
hope.
I
Let's
think they
see.
wanna. I don't think they're gonna talk about that show ever again.
There are Asgardians in Norway. Like you have Wakandans. You have I forgot the name of this place where Namor is from. Basically Atlantis, but yeah,
Talocan.
yeah, Talokan, yeah. So you have Talokan and Wakanda as like these own like extra nations doing their own things right now, which is pretty wild, obviously. And then you have uh other countries trying to do their own things. Like you had Dracov doing stuff with the Red Room that was going out of places. Oh, you also have Kamartaj also that's just kind of like not a government entity that has wizards around the world doing stuff. And then of course, yeah, you have and you initially had like officially Captain America, Sam Wilson, but there's just so many variables that she's trying to just kind of like okay, like figure this out. Especially since the adamantium from the celestial island, like that whole business. So it's cool that she's just like yeah, she's cutthroat, ruthless, but she's able to still like understand the task at hand. So that's pretty cool. Other Bucky moments, like you said, the ending where he gets the explosion on the one sorry, the the cord on one of the Humvees and kind of pulls it down with the arm. That was freaking cool.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
winch.
Yeah, he just does the ground pound and bam. That was always cool. Like those,
The what was it? The it was funny when he was trying to talk to Wendell Pierce's character, and he like grabs him to try to like get into like a secluded area. He's like, "Man, you don't have to do this." He's like, "You can just text me like every other normal person."
yeah, he's like, you don't have to
He's
go off to
acting
the
like he's
side.
a
Like this.
spy. He's like,
Yeah, he's like, I'm the blind spot of all the cameras. He's like, sir, you could just text me this. Like, it's official. You're, that was so funny.
like I'm surprised he's even a congressman. Like he's the Winter Soldier. How do you make him a congressman? Like
He's
I
a
know that
congressman from a
I
district in
know.
New York. I don't
Well,
know.
no, it's not even that. I know it's also like, oh well, he's an Avenger and helped save the world. But like even still, he has a lot of past transgressions that I'm not sure a lot of people would probably vote for. But it doesn't matter because it seems like they did away with that.
We'll see.
His
I think plausibly, just the name recognition alone is like, oh, well, he's rehabilitated. He wants to do the right thing and kind of go through official channels, not
right,
in the shadows and stuff. And
so
it's also damn, and he's also old. He has a lot of experience because he's literally like 90 something.
and he's kind of like the poster child for the rest of the group of like, look at me, if I could do it, if I could change and you know be an Avenger and help the world, then these guys can too. So
Yeah, it's a lot
good,
of that. Just kind of like refinding your purpose. Good message.
good optics, like Valentino would say.
Yeah.
His suit at the end was cool too.
Yeah, yeah. All the new suits at the end were pretty dope. I like that they gave John Walker the beret. The kind of not everybody's got to have a helmet like Red Guardian or something like that. So
Have
it's
they
Yeah, I
like
like the colors on the suits.
have they
Yeah.
It's, like, pretty
officially
nice.
called him U.S. agent, or he's just John Walker?
he's just John Walker,
Okay.
but I'm gonna call him U.S. Agent.
Yeah, because that name is awesome. It's hilarious.
Yeah, did they have it
Awesome.
at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn
Maybe,
it was
but I
written
don't think so.
somewhere. Yeah, it's like, oh, we could, the U.S. could use an agent like you. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
but they
sure.
didn't. They didn't go the extra mile.
Say that again. No, I'm kidding.
So
that
it's a
again.
U.S. agent.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool, man. Yeah, Bucky's a great pick. I guess that leaves it down to me, right?
If you want.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna throw my pick out there. You'd think I'd go to my boy Bobby, my boy Robert Reynolds, but I'm actually gonna pivot over to Ghost.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Taskmaster.
No,
Oh,
no,
God.
no. As much as I like the concept of Taskmaster and stuff, I think that was a smart play to do. Just due to various factors I won't get into. Like
Great suit though,
yeah, Taskmaster and the shield still worked, obviously,
and
and
the
like
mask.
Taskmaster is doing a lot of the move copying and everything. It's hard to copy a literal ghost that just phases through walls and stuff. Yeah, like that
They
was
could have
nuts.
taken the shield.
They probably
Had
could have,
2 shields.
but that whole sequence is really cool because it's just like everybody is just there to try to kill each other, and then they would just have burned in that vault along with all the evidence. And it was great that everybody
Well,
realized, oh, we're getting got.
One of the cool parts is like when they throw. I forgot who started it, but someone threw a knife and then it hit the shield and then it went to the other person and then threw it to the other person and it just went like through everyone. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody had their hands on like through trying to throw the knife at somebody. Which again, a lot of the sequences like that with Ghost were really cool. Like how she dispatches Taskmaster was like out of nowhere. It's just like I still have the gun, and it's just pretty like in a way it was shocking because like damn, that's all you get at Taskmaster. But shows the stakes are high. It also shows that like hey, like this was part of Valentina's plan, which shows that it's semi competent. But I've always liked Ghost was one of my favorite parts of the second Ant-Man movie because I always felt that it was more she was like a tragic villain in the sense that like you feel for her because like she went through that terrible experiment, like her upbringing was just like her being stuck in that, and like if she doesn't have this right that she might just like it might just phase out now. I think at this point the one thing I will say is I don't think that well because of the events from uh the Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think technically she's cured, but she just uses the suit to phase in and out. I don't think she ever said anything where she's like, "Oh, I can't be out of this suit or else I'm like donezo." I know like it
Well,
was rapidly
I think she
degrading.
did mention that because I think
yeah,
she
because
said
it's
she
not the suit. It's
developed
definitely
the
for
suit to help make sure
contain
she
or control.
doesn't.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because she was degrading so rapidly in Ant-Man that basically Janet Van Dyne helped her helped that like not be completely like, just going down and never being sort of like she basically stopped it. But
Yeah,
she
that's what
still needs it.
I was a little
Yeah.
confused about that. So, did she completely heal her, or what exactly
She's
did she do?
so from my understanding now that with this info, she stopped it degrading because it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And
Hmm.
like that was a part of her thing going on. That a lot of it is like, hey, it's just getting worse and worse. And it was and the suit it just helps it now. It just kind of contained the level that she's at. Like she's not completely cured. So it's just kind of like, um, just like it's sort of like okay, you're at this certain point, but it was not going to get worse.
Hmm.
But anyway, I liked a lot of her sequences, but I also liked her kind of character development and how like there was always this like, hey, you have the easiest way to get out of stuff. Are you actually gonna just like dump everybody and just peace out? But like deep down is kind of like no, like seems like sort of like a kind of an all right thing to do. And also she would do it just to spite John Walker, which I thought was great. Like she would just literally do things out of spite. And let me see what else.
I think
Like
everyone was
Well, he was.
going off on John Walker,
Oh
which
no,
was
never
really
yeah.
mind.
funny.
No, she was after Taskmaster, right?
No, I think no. Yelena got there like so. Yelena got there second because Ghost got there first.
Right. Yelena was chasing Ghost, but Ghost was chasing Taskmaster, right? And I
Yes,
think
and
John
then
Walker was chasing
Yelena,
Yelena.
Yelena.
Yelena, yeah,
Okay.
and then Taskmaster was going to John.
Yeah, so Ghost to
Nice.
Taskmaster, Taskmaster to John Walker, Walker to
To Yelena.
Yelena, and then Yelena
To Ghost.
to Ghost.
exactly,
Yes.
yeah.
And then it loops.
And then yeah, that was the whole loop. They had to try to close the loop. The only part that was closed was Taskmaster's loop. But yeah, her action sequence is really cool. I like that she like was the one to like always remind what the Thunderbolts team was. It's like, oh, it's like her kid soccer team. Like that's cool. I'm cool with this. Like, um, and it was also like it was the way they escaped out of the facility, like just like, hey, I'm gonna pilot the or drive the truck, just invisible drive. And like every time, like, hey, we're just gonna like sneak on past, and all right, cool, I'm out. And it just kind of like phases out again. Like it was always cool to kind of like flip in, flip out, and kind of it's a good showcase of the tech and kind of like where she's at now. And but I liked how overall visually, but also how the character how she ends up developing to kind of just like, hey, you know what, like this, it isn't just like only for we're only out for myself. Like there's proof that it can kind of be more than that.
Yeah,
I
and
thought that
she
was
she
really cool.
kept she kept coming back even though they thought that she was gonna leave, but she kept coming back to either save them or help them out.
Like 3 times, I
Um,
think.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
man.
John Walker kept mentioning he's like, "Oh, you came back." Like it's like cool. That's nice of you to come back.
Mm. The first time she's like, he's like, oh, he came back. It's like, yeah, because you broke the elevator. Like that was her first excuse, and then the second one, and then it just became more and more just like, hey, you know what? Nah, like you're it's kind of growing on together. And I think that like some of that came all of everybody was getting some of the I think getting of that, I guess, from a place of like caring for Bob, which ended up caring for each other. So that was pretty nifty. I think that was a great way to kind of showcase all of that. And
Mhm.
it's also cool to see that like due to Bob's like lingering kind of like connection and kind of bringing out some of like the dark stuff within the void. It's almost like how everybody is kind of like having those like dark moments or kind of reliving just the bad stuff. Like obviously we saw Yelena's, which is really traumatic. That's really messed up. But it was also like as a side note, when they're trying to like get Walker to move over, like he gets into his whole thing of just like, oh, like it's actually a really dark day that my parents, or sorry, that my my wife left me with my kid, or left me and took the kid. So he's kind of just like, yeah, I'm doing great, when he's definitely not. Kind of like more of him deluding himself.
Yeah, because he had
And like,
mentioned earlier in the movie that, oh yeah, I'm married, I got a kid. And then we get that flashback or that like vision or dream or
Yeah,
memory,
when he touched Bob.
and then it's
I,
mentioned later on that oh, and your wife divorced you, took your child, all that stuff. And
I
then
remember
I
when he
remember like the
said
theater collectively was like, oh,
that, they're like gasping.
yeah,
which was
and that was the whole
a
thing where he's
pretty
just like
nice
doom
moment.
scrolling on his phone, just like completely out of it, because he's just like, man, this is the worst. So, but yeah, going back to my initial point, I liked Ghost a lot. Like, she was my favorite part of, or second, yeah, no, she was my favorite part of Ant-Man and Wasp. Because my second favorite part was randomly Walton Goggins being ridiculous. But yeah, but I like her. I like her concept as the character, and how she's able to fit in with the team and do stuff.
Yeah,
And it
she was
kind of like
cool.
yeah.
She was cool in the movie. It seemed like out of the rest of them, that she was the one that kind of got pushed a little to the side and didn't get as fleshed out as the others. So hopefully, they'll give her more to do in future movies.
Because this was only her second movie as the
Yeah.
character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, technically speaking, yeah.
I feel like, well, I think everyone on this in this movie except for Bucky, this was like their second or their second like second outing as the character.
Right. So Red Guardian and Yelena were in Black Widow, but Yelena showed up in Hawkeye. So this is
Hawkeye.
like
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
her third appearance.
But that was more
Yeah.
cameo than like a
Well, she was in like a whole episode.
big role.
Um,
Was it a whole episode? I thought it was just a
yeah,
cameo.
yeah.
So
Oh,
okay, so it
remember
was a
her
whole
whole
episode.
arc was that she was hunting down Hawkeye because
That's right.
Valentina told her
Valentina,
that Hawkeye killed her sister.
which she's not wrong, by the way. I was like, damn, that's messed up, because
She is,
she's not
because
wrong.
he didn't kill her. She chose to do that.
And he just happened to be there.
He just happened to be
Correct.
there, and he just happened to let go.
Correct.
No, I'm kidding. She made him let go. I mean, hey, how are you gonna argue with that? But anyway,
And then
um,
Valentina had just, well, she was in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and like a cameo, and then she was in the
Black
end
Widow.
credit
And
scene of Black Widow.
and also Secret Invasion, because she recruited that character that they're probably not going to mention again.
Mm.
Amelia Clark's character.
did she recruit Gaia? I thought
No,
it was
she didn't recruit it. It was
no, it was
this other lady.
this lady from all these
Oh, that's
Olivia
right. Olivia
Colman.
Colman. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But she was in.
It's probably the best thing to bring back from that show. Should be her.
She was in Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
No.
Valentina. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in the end credit scene.
Of that one, yeah.
Okay.
Recruiting
in
US
that
agent.
one. Yeah, and also at the end of Black Widow. Yeah. That's why I'm there like, oh man, we're gonna have a Dark Avengers, which I was kind of thinking like, yeah, it's kind of like a Dark
Pretty
Avengers
much
in a
what
way.
it is.
Yeah, Dark Avengers, especially considering like, you bring in Bob as a Sentry, that he has his dark side stuff between him and the Void, and his psychological kind of like state and the things he gets into like really is traumatic enough that now it's exacerbated by basically godlike powers. It's pretty out of hand. Before I end up on the thing of Ghost, I love her suit. Her suit is the bomb.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really
The mask
freaking
is cool.
Yeah, and I like the suit in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Ava's new suit is freaking awesome. Like, I was just like, holy crap, this is just pretty damn cool. And she's going back to Ant-Man and Wasp. She's part of basically my favorite scene in the entire movie. Is when Kurt, they go through, she just goes in, steals something, and gets that, and then Kurt's like, "To Baba Yaga."
Oh yeah, because she just appears at their job.
Yeah, that's just that's great, awesome stuff. But yes, yeah, I liked Ghost as an addition to the team. Makes sense. What else?
So I thought you were gonna talk about Bob. So
No, I wasn't gonna talk. I was talking about Bob because I think everybody can talk about
Bob was
Bob
great.
because Bob is really like Bob is Lewis Pullman is great in this. Like he really brings in both aspects of like Bob being his like nice sort of carefree, like hey I'm here. He also brings out the like when he's really remember he talks about he has great days and he has bad days, which really like more of this more. I'll talk about the main theme of the movie in a bit,
They
but
had
like that
great
stuff.
quotes.
Yeah, like it really hit from home. He had great quotes too. Like I don't know, Danny, if you remember any. If you want to bring out some.
Let me look up some because
He's
I
like,
remember that one, like that had good days and bad days.
yeah,
And
he's like,
then
hey, Bob.
well,
Like,
one thing
how
I
did you get
remember
here? I
from
don't know. I just showed up, and every time they keep trying to like figure out, he's like, oh, how convenient. You only just remember. Like every time John Walker's trying to like go, he's like, oh, of course you don't remember. Like, dude, like, really?
His
he's like,
quote
I
of
just
just
woke up.
saying cucumber.
Yeah. Cucumber.
Oh, when he turned into Sentry or like became Sentry, he goes, why would a god take orders from anyone at all?
Yeah, and it got really like, holy crap! Like he's feeling himself to the point where it's just like, again, that delusional thing going on, and then Valentina's like, ah, damn it, I gotta kill you now.
Yeah, the Void had some cool lines too.
Yeah, I know the void
Hold on.
hit hard,
There's one.
like verbally.
The
Huh?
most shameful thing of all was thinking that you could be anything more than nothing.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Like that's like that hit hard, dude. Like the whole idea, like that's really the crux of the movie. I think is like the Sentry, Bob, and the Sentry slash Void really brings out the whole idea of just like with all these characters, sort of like crisis of conscience or trying to like getting through their kind of like the ruts that they're in. Then seeing somebody that's those highs and lows get amplified by just straight up godlike power is nuts. Like it's out of hand to see. And I think all that really kind of like helps them hit home as like, man, like it's like it's more than just being able to do the things, but also it's about how you feel too. And like a lot of that negative self-talk that comes from the void is like that hit hard. I was like, damn, like that's
And
rough.
then the visual representation of some of the powers of the void was really cool. Like when he does like the whole shadow thing of like kind of like at first you
Yeah.
would think like, oh, they're killing them.
Oh man,
Because when
like
you see the
oof.
little girl,
Yeah, after their
after
big
Red
hero
Guardian,
moments, yeah,
yeah,
everybody's like, "Oh, we're blocking this. We're helping everybody out." They save the thing. Yay, the little girl's there, and then boom, shadow. I think that hit the theater. I was like, "Man, what a gut punch! What a gut punch!" Like
yeah,
it's just
that was
being
Yeah, it was rough, and it was also like a little funny because it was just like right when they saved her, and it was like it was just a little. I
no.
think like that.
I did not find that funny at all. I was kind of like,
No,
"Damn,"
at the
because we
beginning,
didn't know.
at the beginning I was like, oh, and I was like, I was like, wow, like I was like all that for nothing.
I mean, that's kind of like what the void is trying to like make the point of. It's just like, yeah, this is nothing. You guys can't do anything. You can't amount to anything. Like I'm the ultimate aspect of that. And it's like, um, you know, then even I kind of like in like the I don't know if they call it voidscape or like in its whole like that whole like area that's consumed by the void. It's just like how everybody's kind of like reliving their dark stuff. It was pretty out of hand to see that. That was just like, damn, dude. Um, even there, like he's kind of in control. He's trying to turn like whatever's left of good of Bob, as the team try to like, hey, we're all gonna jump in there, and try to help him. I forgot who it was that was like, hey, I think there's something odd about this, and then like, why would she just walk in there? And I think that was Bucky, right? Or was it Yelena? No, sorry, not Yelena. Yelena went first. Afterwards, it was I want to say it was
I think
Bucky.
I
'Cause
thought it was Red Guardian.
like Red Guardian went in
Yeah.
there.
No, I
No,
think
I
they were
think
like holding him back because he
he
was
was
like
too
screaming to try to like get her to
yeah, he
not
was
go.
too distraught. But then when they got to hiding, I think Bucky was even like, "Wait, this doesn't make sense." Because I think,
Yeah, it was
or
pretty
was
much
it?
like either she's dead or she's not, and she just went somewhere. I said,
Yeah.
well, let's go follow.
Yeah, let's go follow. And then like everybody came through. And then that's when we got like the like, hey, let's get Bob out of his stuff. You saw like, the kind of like, uh very negative and sad childhood he had with being his mom and his dad, where even his mom was like, you're only making things worse when
Yeah.
he's trying to like help out his mom. That was rough, man. That hit hard. It's like, damn, dude, I didn't need that. But we did.
Yeah, a lot of the writing was really well done, and like some of the little nuggets of like dialogue to kind of give you like a sense of or get more of a background of some of these characters was really well done.
Yeah. I think and it did a lot of like the aspects of that from the comics of the Sentry and Void really well. So I don't remember him having telekinesis, but that dude was basically like, super duper strength, super strong to the point where he could fight like Savage Hulk during World War Hulk. He was able to like get him doing stuff. So that was pretty out of hand. But yeah, I like how they kind of brought him in, so like are able to kind of incorporate him in this way. And to where even where the ending where we have like the big mid credit scene, he's kind of like, oh well, Bob can fly. He's like, yeah, but if I start doing that, I might let the other guy out. And it's like, oh, so yeah, he is like their Hulk basically, but way worse.
Yeah, Hulk doesn't shadow the whole city.
Yeah, they don't consume everybody in darkness. That's pretty messed up. Yeah, Lewis Pullman, great job all around. I know he had reservations about playing another character named Bob, but hey, this guy has comics pedigree, so you kind of
Yeah,
have to.
just keep giving him Bob roles.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants. Maybe he does. Maybe not want that, but yeah.
But no, yeah, he
But
was cool. Yeah, I really liked the representation at the end of just like, even though he was tackling and punching, himself, essentially, the void,
yeah,
trying to stop it, it was like he was just getting consumed by like his anger and his hatred, and you could just see like the shadow going all over him. That looked really cool. And that's when that moment happened that I spoke about earlier, where the Red Guardian was able to yank away the things that were holding Yelena on the wall, and then she goes up and she's the first one to avoid all the stuff flying around, and she was able to go over there to try to stop him,
yeah. And then I think like
let him
Abe
know. She's like,
was
you
able
don't
to
you
get
don't need to
out.
do this. Like,
Yeah, it's like no, you don't need to do this. Like you reconcile with yourself. Like you're not what he says he is, which is great. Like it's just like you have to like hopefully Bob gets therapy. That's what Bob needs right now. Bob needs therapy, not
but
meds.
well, it seems
Maybe
like
some
all of
meds.
them, all of them need
And
it.
they all need therapy in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
That's the movie was like
Well, Bucky
a
got
therapy
his
session. The
therapy.
movie.
Yeah, Bucky got his therapy. He's just the grumpy old guy putting everybody together or
I'm
having
actually
everybody stay together.
I'm pretty curious what the other members saw in their like version of when they went into the void, because I know we saw Yelena's a few times of like her moment that
Yeah,
she kept reliving. So I wonder.
And we
That's
saw
another thing. Like,
we
John's
also
kind of how
saw
I
uh,
was saying.
John's.
Well, we saw John's for like a snippet earlier on in the movie, but I'm saying like once they went in at the end, like I feel like they could have shown like a ghost, a version, whatever ghost, uh, deep down, secret thing that we don't know about her yet. And it's like I feel like that could have added to her character since she was kind of pushed to the side. Maybe they did. Maybe they filmed something for all of them, and they were like, "Oh, it's too long," and they probably had to cut it.
maybe they'll put it in like a bonus features or like some deleted scene or something like that.
That would
Yeah,
be pretty cool.
maybe. Yeah, especially
But
seeing like
that
some of
whole
maybe some
section,
of Red Guardian stuff. Like I know like like he had like his no, speaking of Red Guardian, his like no, I funded the cup, not Stan's Thunderbolt, whatever, like Thunderbolts from Stan's whatever like electrical shop. He's like Stan sucks, which I thought was hilarious. But
yeah, I mean that whole section was cool. I really liked the effects that they did in that section of them going from like room to room and seeing Like,
yeah, how they would go
like
through
one
each,
of
like
them
it was a
either
mirror,
go through
and
a
then you'd go through a
wall or a
wall.
door.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like
yeah,
semi like Inception like and very, very trippy and kind of creepy at times.
yeah. That was pretty legit. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, like the whole movie was kind of put together, and also like where like Valentina's doing her whole like, oh crap, this is getting out of hand. But I bought the press. But that was a good little like swerve that she ended up doing, where like she did the Tony Stark in the Tony Stark Spider-Man Far From Home thing. Except like it actually went through instead of like, oh, you ready? No, no, I don't think I can. It's like, hey, you know what? That's okay, kid. And then this is kind of like, although it was like super duper ready for him, had to be like Avenger if anything. So they became, but spoiler alert, if you're seeing posters everywhere now, it's no longer Thunderbolts. It's now she says it the new Avengers, because you know they can't just get rid of her, so she kind of forces them to be in the spotlight, but then it also puts her in a position of vulnerability because the Thunderbolts know.
Yelena is gonna
Yeah, Yelena's like,
be
hey,
like,
I
I
got
have
you
you.
now. Yeah, like you're like,
She's like, we owe you, or we own you now.
yeah, it's like you think you had this, spin. You think you had a spin, but we own you.
And like, how does she even think that she can control anything anymore? She thought she could control Bob slash the Sentry, and that didn't work. It did for a couple of minutes when she had him fighting them all
Yeah,
together, and he kind of just like wiped the floor with them pretty easily. And then that's when he realized he's like, yeah, I'm pretty much a god, so why do I need
yeah.
to
I don't need
listen to you?
you. Yeah,
And
like
then he almost
they would
choked
have.
her out. Like she would have
Yeah,
died if her assistant didn't show up.
with the kill switch, but I think that there's also like the public opinion piece of it, because all these new Avengers did want to turn a new leaf, especially someone like Red Guardian, John Walker, which he hasn't gotten a new shield. Did he get a new shield? Oh, he got a new shield, right?
The taco one?
Yeah,
No, he
because
didn't,
after
because I think in the post credit scene you could still kind of see it was a little bit bent, but not fully bent.
not
Yeah,
fully
it
bent,
wasn't back to
I
perfect.
love that one picture from, I think it was like a magazine cover
it's like the
where
Atlantic or
it
something.
was like him riding a horse, but the the saddle he
Horse
was
is
on
the saddle.
was the taco shield.
Yeah, and I like
All
that
of
how like
those
the
like
world.
parody
Yeah, those were great.
photos at
Yeah,
the
The
end were
whole
pretty funny.
Queen album with their faces.
that was really good, and at the same time, it's kind of like what's happening here. Like a lot of the public rightfully is like, yeah, like I don't know what to make of these new Avengers. Like,
The B
isn't
Venture.
Thor?
You
Yeah,
you
the B
have
Avengers. I was like, damn.
you have the
Which,
Red Guardian as an Avenger.
yeah, especially now, like that kind of maybe sets up like the West Coast Avengers versus them East Coast, since they're in the tower. So
Not the
again,
Avengers.
With the
the
Z.
Avengers.
Oh, that was also one thing
Copyright.
that we haven't talked about yet. Um, so what was it, at the end or somewhere in, was it Spider-Man Far From Home? They kind of teased the like phase 1, 2, 3, and then 4 with a question mark or whatever. And then people were like, "Oh, the Avengers Tower is no longer Avengers Tower, is bought by someone." And the whole speculation was that it was the Baxter Building, or that it would become the Baxter Building. And then we come to find out that it
And
wasn't
Valentina
bought.
The
bought it.
CIA bought it.
Yeah.
CIA bought it. We're using it as a base. It's like, oh, I love that after they did the whole fight in the lobby. She's like, guys, stop. Just come on
The
up. I
door's
just had
open.
the drywall. He's like, I just did the drywall. Come on, just come on up, please. Yeah, that was nuts.
And then
Um,
Bucky then just continued to hit the one guy.
yeah. It's
One
just like, fine.
knocked him out.
Again. That's what he did.
He hit him with a Marvel Rivals again. Nice.
I think in one of the ads or promos for it, he does say it.
Yeah, they had him do him say he was saying armed and dangerous, and he was just like again.
Yeah.
I'm sure they paid him money and they're like, just repeat these lines. He's like, okay, and that's what it sounded like. That he didn't know what he was saying. He
Somebody
was
who
just
now
He's like,
has
repeating.
he's like, why?
somebody who now has like a Golden Globe, or
Why?
he has like
Because it's
a
$2
SAG
million.
award. Yeah, he's just like, this is a Chinese gaming money we're working with here. This is a mobile, or game as a service money. So you're getting that cash. But yeah, dude, all culminated in the whole reveal of the new Avengers. Really great stuff. And then we got
then
hit
the new
with
dudes in that post-credit scene, which looked great.
yeah
Especially
the
Bucky's arm.
oh yeah
And apparently that post-credit scene was directed by the Russo brothers.
yes it was.
Because they were filming already for Doomsday, so that's pretty
Right.
cool that they brought them in.
So it's most likely that that scene will be in Doomsday.
Yeah, or they'll probably like, I don't know,
Or
this
like a
whole thing is like,
continuation
yeah,
of
dude.
it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. When you see the
show up at the end of
Fantastic Four.
yeah.
I love it. It's
I
like the
wasn't gonna
old
say anything
yeah.
until we talked about it, but you know.
You're supposed to go Fantastic Four.
Well,
Yeah, with the
Xavier
retro
got it
rocket.
spoiled.
No, I read the credits like because they
Yeah.
were going to the very end. I'm like, all right, nice. You hear the song, the thing. I was like, Michael God damn it. I just read Fantastic Four theme, Michael Giacchino. I'm like, oh, come on.
It's like X, you're the one guy that reads the credits.
I am
Shouldn't
the
have
one
read the
guy that reads the credits.
Like,
I want to
who
shout out
reads
that
the
one
credits?
guy as the dolly grip and best boy. No, I'm kidding. It's it was kind of a spoiled surprise, but I just wanted to see if something what would come up. But we got the retro futuristic rocket coming in, and like even the sensor saying, "Hey, this is extra dimensional." So who knows? We're getting that. We're getting X-Men stuff happening in Doomsday, but we gotta wait until July of 2025, July 26th or 25th. I forgot the
Were there any
exact.
things that you guys didn't like about the movie?
The only thing I didn't like was how they got up the elevator shaft. I did think it was a little too hokey. I was like, man, there's no way it's going up a whole ass mile. Like that must have taken them so long. But whatever. That was kind of like the only thing. I did also, regrettably that Taskmaster got like some cool. She got some cool moments, but then she was dispatched very quickly. But
She got
that's just it.
tasked.
I know it's minor, but kind of like them revealing the Doomsday cast before the movie came out. You're kind of
Right.
like, okay,
So
well,
nothing
we know
happens.
these 5 make it, and Taskmaster doesn't. So obviously something
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. We
But
didn't expect it just to be that quickly.
But
yeah,
I mean, at the same time,
it's
like
like not that
at least,
major either.
at least
So
Yeah,
for us,
not a
we
big deal.
knew that Senshi was in this movie, and if you know anything about that character, you know that none of these people can do anything against that guy. So like you had to have known that they would have figured out some other way to stop him if he is the one of the semi villains of the movie, at least the
Exactly.
Void.
Yeah.
So it's like there might be people that are like, oh, I don't like the way that they concluded the movie by you know doing like
Power
a
friendship.
maybe like a power friendship or a group hug, or it's just like, well, they can't really punch him. They can't like it's not like they can punch him and stop him. Like they had to come up
It's
with
like
another way to
Superman.
figure it out, and they wrote a
like
way in
yelling
by
Martha.
yeah by
Why'd you say that? I'm kidding.
by him kind of like befriending all these outcasts and like by them being there at the end to like help him out. It's like okay, I mean you can't win every battle with just punching people. So it was a pretty good departure for
Especially
a
considering
way
the
that they
entire
actually
group, all they do is punch and shoot things.
right. You have 3 super soldiers, right? 3 or 2?
Basically, yeah, 3 super
Yeah, 3 of
soldiers.
them.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of the same skill sets. One thing that I didn't like really is the just like how in the heck does the government even have the capability to give someone this power? Like what test were they running that this person all of a sudden has this in him that can turn people into shadows? And it doesn't, you know,
Well,
you just
it's
gotta like accept like, oh, they made this and
no, I
he's
get
he's
it.
this now.
I can argue it, but the thing is, they were trying to do this Sentry project using whatever new stuff that's going on, like trying to just like augment these people to such an extent. But the fact that he's so mentally unstable, it's what kind of like brings that up. It's not like I can recreate the Sentry slash Void. It's because Robert Reynolds is not well in the head.
I get that part, but I'm saying like, okay, but how does that equate
Like,
to him
what are they
having like
doing?
strength and flying and all this other stuff? So it's like I'm maybe in passing when some of the characters are looking at some of those like pamphlets of like the Sentry program or whatever, maybe it's explained in the milliseconds that that's on screen. But like they could have had one blurb of like, oh, we've been collecting alien technology or
That's what I
DNA
would
from
do.
all of these attacks from all these years, and we've concocted something. Like it could have been a one sentence thing, and then it could have been like, oh, okay, it kind of makes sense. But like they didn't
That's
really
what I
say
would think.
anything like
Yeah.
that. So it's just like, oh, we had this experiment, and it was a Sentry program, and then all of a sudden we got this guy who was down in his luck and had mental issues. So perfect. Now he has powers. So that was the only thing that for me was like, okay, it's a weird stretch just to be like, oh yeah, he has these powers now. But
I mean, he
now,
wasn't even
and like you
expected
said,
to
now
have the
now
powers
he's the
because he
Hulk,
was supposed to be dead.
right? Because they said a bunch of other people died from it.
Yeah. It's the same thing how, like, why did gamma radiation would normally kill somebody have Bruce Banner come out? The answer is trauma, by the way, guys. The answer is always trauma. If you were looking
For
for
superheroes, apparently.
always trauma.
Or your parents dying.
Or
Yeah.
they could have they could have
Or
done
your
a whole
parents causing the trauma.
what was the little vial called that they used in Secret Invasion that had all the powers of the Avengers, which is
Oh
how
my
this
god. Yeah.
this girl got all the powers. They could have just said like, "Oh yeah, we extracted this from her blood and used that as part of this program," and now it's just like crazy concoction of super soldier serum and all like Avengers powers or something like that. I highly doubt they're ever going to talk about that character ever again because she is technically like the most powerful character in the MCU because she has all these powers. But like, I don't know how they're gonna
Yeah, like
include
I would
her
say
into
now it's
anything.
second most powerful. I think that's
Yeah,
what the thing that that
Sentry's
Sentry
the most
did here
powerful.
is like, hey, like they made it so now, all right, Sentry's now the most powerful thing we have. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's a
I feel
lot
like
of
that was
going
just
What
on.
if
kind of
Doom comes down and just
Whoops him.
like
Says
whoops
this.
him like nothing? He's like, "Oh, that's cute. You turn into some dark thing, okay?" And he just stops him, and you're like, "Oh boy, this is
Yeah, or
this is
he's
not
just
good."
like, cool, your darkness, here's therapy. You know what I mean? Like, or like he mentally like puts him in a state where he's like, because that's a
Like
lot of times
traps
what
him or something.
happens. That's how they kind of like, yeah, they might maybe like telepaths can kind of like get him to be stuck in something and basically like contain him. That's what it comes down to. You contain him mentally. That's why like the Juggernaut needs his helmet or Magneto needs his helmet because you don't
The
want a telepath to get in there.
Yeah, the void effect was really cool. I liked how you could see like the faint,
Dude,
like
just
it's all
barely.
black, but you could barely see like the eyes. And
Yeah.
then there was a few times when he was getting like punched where you could see him like smiling, like you could see some teeth while he was getting punched. It was pretty cool and creepy.
I don't think I
Yeah,
ever
the
noticed that,
eyes
like, the
the
Yeah,
smiling
eyes
part.
I saw some
glowing
teeth.
were
Yeah,
really
it's like
cool.
it was like a faint. I think it was like red eyes, but it was like very faint.
He
I think
They
it
were
looked
was
like
kind of like a
yellow.
Heartless
whitish.
from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah, he kind of does. Like, that's I didn't think
Yeah,
about that, but when you mention it now, it's like, yeah, I can kind of see the heartless.
exactly. Yeah, like the effect they did, like a lot of the effects, like I don't think any of the effects in the movie to me looked cheesy at all. Like I think the movie was visually well put together, obviously shot really well. Um, he's got an eye to be able to kind of make the shots in composite. Like even the stuff with the helicopter, like crashing in New York City, it
Mhm.
is um and how like the shots were established and all of these like very like big character moments and like the acting was done really well for everybody giving their parts. Like even yeah, like I have to give a um a shout out to like Wyatt Russell, just like keeping the kind of like yeah, I'm like the cool. I know I'm put together. I know what I'm doing, but even underlying, it's like no, he isn't. Like it's he's just barely holding it together. Like there's a lot of that going on that you could see subtly. So big shout out to him.
Yeah, he was clearly like the jerk that everybody was ragging on for most of the movie, but like throughout the movie, he was like easing up and starting to be more of like a team player
Yeah,
instead of thinking like, "Oh, I'm the man because I was in the army and I know all this stuff." It's like, cool, we
yeah. It's
get
like
it. You
shut
were
up,
in the
buddy.
army.
Yeah, that was great. It's like okay, you were in the army. Chill. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
But the music was pretty good too. It wasn't like a huge standout, but it was cool at times, and it was done by the same people that did the music for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, yeah. That surprised me. Again, reading the credits.
But also towards the end, when they announced the new Avengers, you could kind of hear the Thunderbolts theme mix with the Avengers theme,
Yeah.
and that was cool.
Oh yeah, that was pretty damn cool. I liked that a lot.
One thing I
Yeah,
kind of
man.
wish.
Go ahead, Jack.
One thing I kind of wish that this movie was like a few minutes longer.
Yeah, the end seemed a little rushed. Whereas like
Yeah,
they
it
got
seemed
out of the void,
quick.
I was like, "There's Valentina. Let's get her." Oh, press conference. You're the new Avengers. End. It seemed
Yeah,
like it ended in like 2 minutes after they got out of the void.
because I feel like the actual climactic fight should have been maybe just a little bit more, but then also like everything post fight could have also been a few minutes longer, just um to kind of wrap up some things, tie a little bow on them, just kind of end it. But then yeah, like you said, it felt kind of rushed, like going from fighting the void to then new Avengers and then cut to black.
And universe wise, seems kind of odd. This is like another big thing that happened in New York. And so it's like, when does this really take place? Does it take place at all during the events of Daredevil with what just happened in Daredevil Born Again? Um, so I don't know. Sometimes I feel like
Yeah,
they
we have
they
I
to
did
they do
I
these
write
big
did
themselves
things.
into
see
something.
They write themselves into corners, and they're like, "Oh, well, you think Spider-Man would be able to help them during this, or at least show up?" And then maybe he gets shadowed, like, and you're like, "Oh crap!" Like Spider-Man got as well, or just like
Nah,
anything like that.
he was out there in Queens. Don't worry about it.
Dude,
I
at one point the whole entire island,
That's
like,
Manhattan,
if
though. It's not
I know,
Queens.
but I think it was expanding.
No, but
Like
I
it
remember,
just
think
it
he
kept
has an
expanding
apartment
until they
in
got
New
out of
York
it.
now.
I did see somewhere that they kind of want to keep the shows now separate from the
Yeah,
movies.
that's
Not
going.
fully separate, but just like,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
maybe
like that in the comics.
they'll briefly just say like, "Oh, remember 2 weeks ago when this
It's like that
happened?"
in the comics. Like they'll just make a reference of something and they'll say it in passing, and all right, cool,
Yeah.
whatever. Like
I mean
it's the same thing in comics.
that's how they were doing things before when the MCU first started with Agents of Shield.
Yeah,
Agents
like
of
we're kind
Shield
of
was
going
like
back to that now.
it was like a side show that those characters were like, except for Coulson, they weren't really part of the MCU per se. And then, but like there was random moments in Agents of Shield where they would reference events that happened.
And they did it a few times.
Yeah, like the main one that happened was I think it was like near the end of season 1 of Agents of Shield. It
First it was Dark
coincided.
World, and then it
Yeah,
was
it coincided with Winter Soldier
Winter Soldier.
because then it was the whole like um reveal that Hydra was infiltrating Shield, and then and then that was a huge twist within the show, and it like led into I think like the last 2 episodes or a couple episodes of the season of the show.
Yeah. And then I think also in the Netflix Daredevil, they mentioned the attack on New York or the Battle of New
They,
York a
they
few
also
times.
reference the Hulk, like, but it's in
And
like in
Thor.
newspaper clippings in the background. Yeah,
Yeah, so
They
at certain
referenced
yeah,
they may just end up going back to that because yeah, I'm sure
yeah.
they're realizing that by
It's
trying
too
to
much.
implement these things into the movies, you're hoping that people watch all the stuff on Disney Plus, and the reality is that that's not the case. It's
Or you
not.
might write yourself into a bigger corner because then you have to do all this stuff. Also, I think there's rights issues with Kingpin. Like they can't legally put like Kingpin in the movies.
which I still don't
That's
get. Is it
weird.
because he's technically a Spider-Man villain or
Yeah,
what is it?
I
Probably.
think it's that's the
He just
thing
can't.
going on there.
Yeah, just like
Even though
the
he's only ever been seen, at least in live action, with Daredevil.
And he is also in Hawkeye, which again in TV they can get away with, but not in movies.
I still don't. I don't know.
It's
Which
like
is
the
So wait,
why,
whole.
what's the
It's
which
like
is
the
why
wait?
whole.
Daredevil showed
But I'm
up
confused because
in
wasn't the
Spider-Man.
Daredevil the first Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck? Wasn't that a Fox 20th Century Fox movie, not a Sony movie? And it had
Yeah,
Kingpin in it. So how did that happen?
I don't know. Rights changed. From what I remember, is rights ended up changing. Yeah,
but Spider-Man
it
2002
is a
came out
thing now.
literally the year before.
Yeah, I
Yes,
don't know.
but that was. It's still the Wild West. It was the Wild West, I guess, back then before some stuff happened. But and then I forgot what studio was able to do Hulk. And whatever.
Universal.
Point is
Yeah, it was
Universal.
Universal.
Yes,
And I
that's why
think
they
I think
did
they still have the
Incredible
rights
Hulk
in some
Yep.
ways,
to a
which is
solo
why
Hulk.
he doesn't
Yep.
have a solo movie. Only team up
Yeah.
movies. It's a
Yeah,
whole
and
thing.
they
They
did
need
a
to.
Hulk sequel for Captain America.
But wait, wasn't Ghost Rider also Universal, and weren't the rights fully reverted to Marvel? So wouldn't Hulk also now be? Actually, yeah, I think Hulk did fully go back to Marvel. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
I don't think so because I think they would have already tried to make a solo Hulk movie by now.
But then why would they do a solo Hulk movie at this point?
Why not?
Why is Gamora? Is the
Exactly.
ultimate question. Yeah, why is Gamora? All right. Well, anyway, with all that being done, we are digressing. So
Fantastic Four is next.
yeah, Fantastic Four is next. In the end, final thoughts, gentlemen.
In the end, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter.
According to the Void, doesn't really matter. But as we all know,
and
actually,
In
it
the
does
end,
and that
matter.
Care
and that
Bears
was the
share. Hug
Yeah,
your
the
friends.
Care Bear stare and hug your friends.
and that
You
was the end of Phase 5.
Oh, nice.
you do matter. Always remember that.
Well, actually, the last movie of Phase 5. You still have one TV show, and then that'll be the end of Phase 5.
Which is which one again?
Ironheart.
Yes.
Is
Wait,
that a
and
TV
Wonder
show or is
Man.
that making a movie?
Wonder Man and Ironheart are still coming out this year.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's
but
right.
Wonder
Wonder
Man will
Man,
be Phase
I'm
6.
excited for, or not excited. Like, Wonder Man, I want to see how that turns out because, um, I think it isn't that the one that has Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
It also
he's the
has
bomb. Freaking
it
awesome.
also has what's his face? Ben Kingsley.
That's right. More actual.
I just don't know like where that character is gonna fit into these Avengers movies.
But I
If at
think
all.
that's
But
maybe
Right.
more of why they're going for these like TV show
But then it's
things.
like, then why release them? It's like, I don't know. I feel like
Just to
that
have
just
more
causes
because
content, I
confusion.
just to
guess.
have more story, why? Yeah, like just to have. I
I mean,
think
that
it's
they
more of
did
a
the
case
same
of
thing
giving.
with they did that with Echo. It's like, we don't think this is good, but we're just gonna drop it here. And they're probably gonna do the same thing with Ironheart. We're just gonna drop it and not really say anything about it because that show's been done for almost 3 years. It's kind of odd.
All right, so scrap it. Like you're just gonna like all right,
I mean,
throw it in the
yeah, you
crack in the trash.
do a Zaslav from WB and just scrap things.
Jeez. Okay,
And
look how
he's
that worked for the Acme movie. But that always that
coming back.
yeah, it is coming back because everybody's like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, he's the head of WB, so he was doing things to save money for the company, and supposedly he's been doing that. So on his end, he made the right decision. We don't think he did because people like us, we would like to see movies like that, but
Yeah, because
like
that's a movie that could have made
that's what
money,
he did
but
with
whatever.
Batgirl. And people are like, "Oh, why would you do it?" It's like, well, he thought it was terrible, and rather than losing a bunch of money, he only lost some money by scrapping it. So,
Well,
and what was it? He kind of said like it would ruin the brand as well, and
tarnish the
some of
brand.
that is starting to happen with Marvel because they're like cranking out too much stuff. So it's a tough thing to handle.
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. But yeah, guys, I think overall though, like I think
Good movie. Go watch
overwhelmingly though,
it.
yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah,
It
really
needs to make
good.
money. It hasn't made that much money, and it has great reviews. A lot of people like it, but didn't make that much money. So I think we all are agreeing and recommending to go watch it.
And
100%.
I think in this case,
go watch it.
yeah, in this case, I think what we'll see is the it's all about that like second week retention and seeing if like it because
It does with
Apparently,
Sinners.
the drop off
We'll do
isn't so
Sinners
bad.
and do like a 6% drop.
6%. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
apparently it had to
Sinners had
jump
like a
from Monday to Tuesday, and that's like a good sign.
nice.
But
Oh really?
we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool. But yeah.
Is
We
that
don't have to go. We don't have to go down each of the line. We could. We basically just said, yeah, this movie's actually really well made. Really strong recommendation. You can kind of like see it on its own. You don't have to go through the MCU homework, as a lot of people may have seen. It can be its own standalone thing, and kind of go from there. Made really well.
yeah? It's funny, has heartfelt moments, good acting, overall good movie.
No doubt. Okay, cool. So, again, if you listen to all this and you did not watch the movie, I
Sorry.
actually warned you at the beginning. But hey, go watch it again either way. Or either way, still go watch it. We rambled a lot about it, but we did talk about like how the movie is a solid, well put together film from a filmmaking standpoint too. Well acted, well written. It's definitely worth your time to watch it. It's not that long. It's like 2 hours and like 11 minutes or something like that. So make it a fun little movie night. Go out to the theater, get a popcorn bucket or two, and have some fun and check out the Thunderbolts. I mean, New Avengers.
So now
Just
it's
love
officially going to
saying
be just
that.
called that, right?
Oh,
Because that's who they are. Remember, because they
Yeah.
were the Thunderbolts, and every time there's
Well,
always something that's just like, bro, I cannot.
did you see
Uh,
on the Twitter page of the Avengers that they copyrighted the name?
Yeah, that was
Oh
great.
yeah, fight. It's
That,
gonna happen.
that way they probably have to change the name with the Z.
Avengers Z or the Avengers. Freaking hilarious. All right, everybody. So if you enjoyed this episode, if there are other moments that you enjoyed, or if you also understood this movie as a millennials depression coping mechanism, definitely sound off on your podcast platform of choice and on our social media pages. Thank you so much one more time for tuning in. And until next time, stay classy.
Later.
See ya. Goodbye.